All right, welcome back. Here we are, week 5, module 5, and once again we're continuing our conversation on the cell, the study of the cell, cytology. And last week we focused on the general structure of the cell, and we dove a bit deeper into that plasma membrane, how that separates the inside and the outside of the cell, those aqueous solutions inside and outside, and how certain things can, like water, small molecules, and sometimes big molecules, can actually cross that plasma membrane. So how do things get across that membrane? Well, this week we're going to dive into a few more specialized structures. We're going to talk about the nucleus, which is going to hold all that DNA, and the endomembrane system. So we're going to recognize the structure of the nucleus and its role as a storage place for genetic information. That's where we're going to find, once again, your nucleic acids inside your DNA. We're also going to summarize the function of the various organelles within the endomembrane system. So we're going to look at how all these organisms work together. And in this step, we're kind of going to just get a little bit of a preview of that concept of molecular biology. We're going to go into that much later in the quarter, but we're just kind of, once again, setting our foundations, summarizing how these organelles all work together in the endomembrane system. We're also going to talk about the basic role and the structure and location of ribosomes and how they are very important within protein production. Then we're going to get into the cytoskeleton, these specialized proteins that are going to create kind of the infrastructure of the cell and allow for cellular movement. So we're going to look at cytoskeleton, cell movement, and cell junctions, how cells can actually be bonded together at times. So we're going to list the major protein fibers within the cytoskeleton, things that will make up microtubules like actin filaments and so forth, intermediate filaments. So we're going to look at how the cytoskeleton creates this infrastructure framework within the cells. And we're also going to look at the role of flagella and cilia in human cells, which will at times allow for cellular movement. And here we have examples where cytoskeleton is used to actually bring two plasma membranes together to join two cells very tightly. Okay? In fact, one is called a tight junction. Another one is called an adhesion junction. Another example over here is tight junction. You're going to find these, especially in the human body, in what's called epithelial tissue, where the cells are right next to each other and bonded. And these are the ones that are going to line surfaces, like the epithelial cells of your skin. The epidermis of your skin has epithelial cells, which are going to help line surfaces. So we're going to see how that cytoskeleton, those cytoskeletal proteins, are important in bringing all of these cell junctions together. Then we're going to talk about one very specific, very special organelle within the cell, and that's the mitochondria. And here we have, it's almost like a cell within a cell. It's this double membrane organelle that actually even has its own DNA. It has its own DNA and replicates separately, but this is going to be the site, your primary site of energy production within the cell. So we're going to look at the key structures within the mitochondria. We're going to look and know this is a scary looking picture. You don't have to memorize a picture like this, but we want to look at the basic concepts, how this mitochondria actually produces ATP by breaking down our carbohydrates, our fats, and to a lesser extent, our proteins. So we're going to take our fuel sources in our food, which we're going to break down, our carbs, our fats, and our proteins, and we're going to break them down aerobically using oxygen. We're going to oxidize them, and we're going to do that within the mitochondria. So once again, this is where we're going to get most of our fuel, most of our ATP, by breaking down these other large biological molecules. We're going to summarize the roles of that breakdown. We're going to summarize how we're going to break down carbohydrates initially in what's called glycolysis. That's not in the mitochondria. And then we're going to talk about how the product of that, pyruvate, will enter the mitochondria enter what's called the citric acid cycle, the electron transport chain. We're going to look at the basic ways of producing that ATP from those other molecules. Once again, basic biochemistry. All coming down, once again, creating more of that ATP, the main energy molecule for every cell, every cellular reaction in your body. So, let's get started.